why Donald Trump hates Barack Obama and Michelle Obama so much. And it really has nothing to do with that White House Correspondents' Dinner years ago. It's that America still loves, the world still loves Barack and Michelle Obama.
We have some news this morning. MAGA has erupted overnight over Barack Obama visiting Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Barack Obama visited Canada, and now MAGA is suggesting that he should be arrested, that he's launching some type of coup. I mean, you can't really make these things up, but it is a Saturday morning, so there usually is a crazy headline.
Obama did it better. Obama did it better. The new talking point from MAGA is, well, Obama dropped bombs too. Yeah, he did. And he did it better. Obama was able to use surgical strikes and limited military operations to take out targets and not start a fucking war.
I've been noticing for years that the Trump cult is absolutely obsessed with Barack Obama. So I decided to do some research to try and find out why the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Obama. Barack Obama has not been president for 10 years, and MAGA can't stop talking about him. They are literally obsessed with the man. They try and blame him for things that are happening today. That's not random. There's a psychological reason for that, although it seems a little creepy. Here are the 4 reasons the Trump cult is obsessed with President Obama. 1. The psychological wage of whiteness. In 1935, sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois at Atlanta University studied poor white Americans. White Americans, even the poor ones, with no money and no power, felt superior to black Americans. Not because they earned it, but because for 250 years the entire system told them they were superior to black people. The law said it, the church said it, the culture said it. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. This is a status payment people collect just for being white, a floor that white people couldn't fall beneath. Then Barack Obama became president. He occupied the highest status role in the country. That destroyed the floor. And when a status floor breaks, people don't quietly adjust. They backlash. Obama didn't just win an election. He took something they didn't even know they were depending on. They didn't earn this special status, but they thought it was stolen when Barack Obama got elected. And they've been trying to take it back ever since. 2. Social identity threat. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying in-group conflict. What he found was when a member of an out-group outperforms the in-group, the psychological response is not one of admiration, but hostility. Teifel called this social identity threat. A failed black president would have confirmed the Trump cult's worldview, but Obama being polished, competent, scandal-free, and widely respected by world leaders made it impossible to call him incompetent. The better Obama performed, the more threatening he became to the cult. Not because of his policies, but because his success directly contradicted everything they believe about the natural order of things. He wasn't supposed to be better. He wasn't supposed to be a gentleman and a scholar, and yet he was. That doesn't just go away. When weak, mediocre people see someone they believe was inferior reach the highest office in the country, they don't get inspired. They become filled with rage. They feel lied to, and they need someone to blame for the hate and rage. That target is Obama. Everything they could never be. 3. Scapegoating. Obama left office in 2017, but his name never left the conversation because Trump spent more than a decade smearing his name. It all started before Trump was even president. Trump spent years pushing the birther conspiracy, claiming Obama wasn't American, wasn't legitimate, wasn't one of us. That wasn't politics. That was a deliberate effort to strip Obama of his humanity and plant him in the minds of millions as the source of everything wrong. Then when Trump took office, the playbook continued. Every problem needed an explanation. Economy struggling? Obama's fault. Crime rate rising? Obama's fault. Anything going wrong in the country? Obama's fault. Psychologists call this scapegoating. Assign one figure as the source of all your problems and anxiety, which then collapses onto that single target. It feels like clarity to his followers. It feels like understanding. It isn't. Trump didn't just keep Obama's name alive. He spent over a decade turning him into the villain of the story. And to the Trump cult members, this story still is true. 4. Cognitive dissonance. Here's what made the obsession permanent. The MAGA cult couldn't call Obama corrupt. There were no scandals. They couldn't call him incompetent. The record didn't support it. They couldn't even call him unpresidential. He was polished, disciplined, and respected around the world. Psychologist Leon Festinger at Stanford University studied what happens when people are confronted with evidence that contradicts their deeply held beliefs. Weak people don't update their beliefs when confronted with contradicting evidence. They double down on their original beliefs. Festinger called this cognitive dissonance. MAGA was left holding a belief system that Obama's entire existence disproved. And instead of resolving that contradiction by updating their worldview, they resolved it by hating him harder. The obsession isn't just political, it's psychological, and it has nowhere left to go. So it goes out onto everyone else in rage and obsession. Obama is living proof that the psychological wage of whiteness doesn't exist anymore. And to weak people who never earned that status in the first place, it feels like an identity crisis. So they obsess more, say his name more, talk about him obsessively all the time. They even have a name for this now, Obama derangement syndrome. Because Obama didn't just win the presidency. He broke a hierarchy millions of people thought was permanent. And they've been trying to undo that moment ever since.
I've looked, but I can't find any compassion for Trump voters who now claim to have been duped because he said no new foreign wars, and you're in a foreign war. He said prices would go down. All prices have gone up. No one can even afford gas. But here's the thing. You voted for a liar, and you were okay with him being a liar. But now that he's lied to you, you're mad. Yeah, I still can't find any compassion.
Donald Trump has now privately admitted that his mass deportation policies have gone too far, and he wants Republicans to stop talking about them. Now, let's be clear about something. Donald Trump doesn't think they went too far because they're inhumane and they've hurt families and ripped them apart. He thinks they went too far because voters don't like it and his approval rating has gone down. In conversations with top advisors and his wife Melania, who is an immigrant, fun fact, Trump has become convinced that some of his administration's deportation policies have gone too far and voters don't like the term mass deportation. The president has told them he wants to see more attention on arresting bad guys and less chaos in American cities. The desire for an immigration reset is being driven by Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who believes the president's immigration team has turned one of his biggest issues into more of a challenging one ahead of the midterms. So once again, it's all for political reasons. They're not pulling back because it's the right thing to do. They're doing it because the midterms are right around the corner and voters hate Donald Trump. But I'm not really holding my breath that anything's going to change. I mean, they might change the way they talk about it, but the actions of ICE, the Department of Homeland Security, all that stuff, yeah, I don't see that slowing down. I mean, it's Donald Trump after all.
I miss the person I was before Donald Trump. Some of you are too young to remember a time before, but I remember a time before. You would wake up without feelings of dread and rage every day. You could walk about the world with worries. Okay, life was life, but you didn't carry around this impending sense of doom at every moment. God, I miss that girl so much.
So Obama went and met with the Prime Minister of Canada, Carney. And the Repubs and the MAGAs are triggered. It is so funny to see. Laura Loomer gonna say, oh, what's Barack Hussein Obama? You know, it's so funny to me how they use his middle name as though his middle name is like a slur. Barack Hussein Obama, the same way that the president be like Zoran Kwame Mamdani. Like they say his name in a way that's like, yeah, like like they supposed to be hurt, or like we supposed to be nervous because his name is Barack Hussein Obama. They are triggered. She gonna say, what is he doing meeting with foreign leaders while Trump is president? This is a coup. No, it's not a coup. He's just well liked because he's dope and he's better than the current president. That's all it is. It's not a coup. There's nothing sinister happening here. Another MAGA influencer gonna be like, oh, doesn't this violate the Logan Act? I don't know. Does it? Did it violate the Logan Act when y'all's president met with Netanyahu when Biden was president? It was like we had a shadow president. The man never went away. He was holding daily press briefings at Mar-a-Lago the whole time Biden was president. And yes, he met with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago. Like, The hypocrisy and the fake outrage be taking me out. I just be laying here on this here phone, cackling, rubbing my feet together because they so outraged, they're so triggered and bothered, and Obama is just existing in his dope skin, being awesome, and promoting this new center that him and Michelle opened up in Chicago, doing all sorts of wonderful things.
This whole, like, how come you're mad at Trump but not at Obama for the deportation numbers cracks me up, because that just means that Obama's better. Obama did it better, faster, more efficient, with less American lives lost and less protests. Although there were nationwide ones, if you remember, like I do, because I was alive during then. We called him the deporter in chief. We, as in Democrats, the ACLU and the activist groups, because we didn't like the policies either. And do you know what the Republicans did? They called us morons and said that we ate our own and we didn't just get in line, and there was no united front to us Democrats. And so, haha, weren't we hilarious? We weren't to be taken seriously. Mr. Marco Rubio and Miss Lindsey Graham were up there all the time talking about executive overreach. Look at him now, shining bright as a penny on that Air Force One, with zero values and scruples left. But I digress. What you're telling me is Obama's better. What you're telling me is that none of this shit in Minneapolis is necessary, because Obama did it better, faster, stronger. Trump sucks at his job, and this is just another indication of that.
If I see another MAGA post about Obama being in Canada, meeting with the prime minister, y'all are crazy. Trump literally did the same thing when he was not in office. He as well met with foreign leaders when he was not in office. When you are a former president, you are a private citizen. Therefore, you can meet with anyone that you choose to meet with that is a foreign politician. There's no wrong in that. But because it's Obama, it's a problem. Let me repeat again. Trump did the exact same thing when he was not in office. He even hosted foreign leaders at Mar-a-Lago. And did Democrats have anything to say about that? No, they did not. Obama knows what he's doing. He has a law degree. He knows what he can and cannot do.
I think I finally understand why Donald Trump hates Barack Obama and Michelle Obama so much, and it really has nothing to do with that White House Correspondents' Dinner years ago. It's that America still loves, the world still loves Barack and Michelle Obama. See, last night was an NBA All-Star game, and, well, the Obamas were there. The camera panned to them, and the crowd cheered. Everybody stood up. They got a standing ovation to the point that President Obama stood up and waved at the crowd, which led to more cheering. Meanwhile, Donnie Boy Trump shows up at sporting events and half to three-quarters of the crowd boos, to the point that the same media networks have to put clapping and cheering tracks over it to keep his supporters from attempting to boycott them. So, Donald Trump really hates the Obamas because the world still loves them, as the world has always despised him.